When you think of gaming icons, a few names immediately come to mind: Mario, Sonic, Master Chief, but none are quite as legendary as Lara Croft. For almost 3 decades, she's been exploring ancient tombs, solving impossible puzzles, and taking down mythical creatures. But not every tomb she's raided has been a golden success. Today, we're going on a journey through the history of the Tomb Raider franchise, console by console, to pick out the best and worst games that have ever graced our screens. We have to start at the beginning with the console that made Lara a household name, the original PlayStation. The best game on the PlayStation, in my opinion, is Tomb Raider 3, 1998. The original Tomb Raider is an absolute classic. Tomb Raider 2 is my favorite Tomb Raider game of all time because of nostalgia. But what really shines in my opinion in this era is Tomb Raider 3 for sure. This entry took everything the other 2 games had done and made it better and bigger. The game still had that sense of isolation and discovery that Tomb Raider 1 had, brought back the action sequences of Tomb Raider 2, and most importantly, it expanded largely in scope. It features a bigger variety of locations where you could choose where to go next. It brought a bigger inventory of weapons and incorporated a more intricate storyline than ever before. The worst game in this generation, in my opinion, is Tomb Raider Chronicles. Now, while it's not a bad game by any means, Tomb Raider Chronicles is widely considered the weakest of the PS1 era. It felt more like an afterthought, a collection of disconnected levels based on stories told by Lara's friends. It lacked a cohesive narrative and innovative gameplay. It was essentially more of the same, but without the spark that made the previous entries so special. Moving on to segment 2, the Nintendo handheld era. I was going to mention only the best and worst mainline Tomb Raider games, but I feel like I needed to add these handheld games because I honestly played the heck out of them, so why not, right? Worst: Lara Croft Tomb Raider and Curse of the Sword. Now, I know this is gonna be a controversial pick, but while these 2 games are perfectly lined platformers, they arguably the worst simply because they don't feel like a true Tomb Raider experience. By stripping away the 3D exploration and replacing with 2D side-scrolling format, they lose the sense of scale and freedom that defines the franchise. While the platforming is solid, they feel more like a reskinned Prince of Persia or another generic platformer of the era. They're charming, sure, but they're not the iconic Lara Croft we all know and love. The best: Lara Croft Tomb Raider The Prophecy. And that's why The Prophecy is in many ways the better game. It made a bold, ambitious attempt to bring the classic 3D Tomb Raider formula to a handheld. The isometric perspective, while clunky at times, was an excellent compromise. It allowed for complex, multi-layered puzzle rooms and a sense of depth that the 2D games couldn't match. It features a cohesive narrative, classic style puzzles, and even more of the traditional health and weapon system. In its core design, see what I done there? The Prophecy feels like a legitimate, condensed version of a console Tomb Raider title, making it a more authentic and satisfying adventure for fans of the series. Moving on to segment 3, the PlayStation 2 era. What can I say, guys? Unfortunately, the PlayStation 2 era destroyed core design and nearly ended the franchise. Safe to say these were challenging times for Lara. This one is infamous. Angel of Darkness was supposed to be a grand new beginning for Lara, a darker, more story-driven adventure, which we all love, right? But what we got was a buggy and unfinished mess. The controls were clunky beyond belief, the new RPG light elements were poorly implemented, and the camera was a constant enemy. It's a prime example of a game with huge ambition, but a complete failure in execution. Shout out to 2025, where Saber and the Spire fix most of these problems and craft the biggest comeback of all time. Now, while Legend was the game that brought Lara back from the brink, for many fans, myself included, it was its successor Tomb Raider Anniversary that truly perfected the new formula. Anniversary is, in my opinion, the best of this era because it's a perfect blend of old and new Tomb Raider. It took the brilliant fluid controls and redefined engine from Legend and applied them to a faithful yet reimagined version of the very first game. It had the modern mechanics that gamers had to come to expect, but the level design, atmosphere and sense of isolation were pure classic Lara Croft. The puzzles were more fun and multi-layered, the environments were stunning, and the focus was squarely on solitary exploration, not the constant combat we've seen in Legend. It gave us the puzzle-heavy gameplay that made the franchise a legend in the first place, but without the clunky controls of the 90s. It wasn't just a remake, for me it was a love letter to the fans who missed the golden age of tomb raiding, and I loved every second of it. Segment 4. The HD Era. The jump to HD consoles saw Lara continue her journey with a mix of new adventures and a look back at her past. Worst. Tomb Raider Underworld. This is another one that hurts to put on a worst list because it's not without its merits. The graphics were beautiful, maybe one of the most beautiful graphics I ever seen at the time, and the puzzle design was solid. However, Underworld felt like a step back from Legend and Anniversary. The story was a bit convoluted, the controls could still be frustrating, and the game was notoriously buggy at launch. It was a good conclusion to the trilogy, but it lacked the polished and memorable moments of its predecessors. Best. Tomb Raider 2013. And here we go guys, the big one. Tomb Raider 2013 wasn't just a new game, it was a total reimagining. Crystal Dynamics took a huge risk by telling an original story, showing a younger, more vulnerable Lara Croft forced to survive a brutal situation. This game borrowed heavily from the Uncharted series with its cinematic action sequences, but it still maintained a core of exploration and a darker, more serious tone. It was a critical and commercial smash, and even though it wasn't the Lara that we all wanted, we can't deny that it was a fantastic game that successfully introduced Lara Croft to a whole new generation of gamers. Segment 5. The Modern Era. And finally, we arrive at the last generation to ever host a mainline Tomb Raider game. The reboot trilogy continued to evolve Lara's story, but not every step was a leap forward. Worst. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This is where opinions get a little divisive. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is technically a fantastic game and is my favorite on the PS4. The visuals are stunning, the tombs are back to being bigger and more complex, stealth is the main gameplay focus instead of battles, and the jungle setting that took me back to Tomb Raider 3 is simply incredible. However, I have to be honest, Shadow is not the best Tomb Raider game on the PS4 simply because of its narrative. It just doesn't resonate as much as the previous two games. Lara's character arc feels a bit stagnant and the villains are quite forgettable. By this point, we were all expecting her to become the Tomb Raider that we all knew, but of course, that didn't happen. It was a good game, but for many it's the weakest link in an otherwise strong trilogy. Best: Rise of the Tomb Raider. For many fans, Rise of the Tomb Raider is the pinnacle of the modern franchise. It took everything that made the 2013 reboot great and expanded upon it. The gameplay was more redefined, the environments were more open, and there was a better balance between cinematic action and the classic Tomb Raiding puzzles that we all love. Even though I still believe there was way too many shooting and explosions in the game. Despite that, the narrative was a thrilling adventure that saw Lara truly come into her own as the legendary adventurer that we wanted her to be. It's a near perfect blend of new and old that deserves its place as the best of the recent entries. And there you have it, guys, a journey through the highs and lows of the Tomb Raider franchise in each console. While not every game has been a masterpiece, Lara Croft has constantly proven to be a resilient and enduring icon in this gaming world, and I cannot wait to see her in the PS5 or the PS6 by the looks of it. Come on, Crystal, we need news. Let us know in the comments what's your favorite and least favorite Tomb Raider games, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Tomb Raider goodness. Thanks very much for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace!